program from scratch after the school relocated from St. Bernard Parish to St. Tammany Parish. He's guided the Hawks to the Division III state championship game against Calvary Baptist on Thursday at 12:30. Please give a warm welcome to Coach Pat Lambert of the Hannan Hawks.
I can promise you one thing, we like the situation the way it is, but it gave us an opportunity to get in. Being old New Orleans, and my mom, dad both were here, and dad was a boxer with Dupas and Pastrana and Willie Pep and people like that. I don't know if everybody in here understands, in boxing, there's 4 different federations. They all have a heavyweight champion. They all have lightweight champions, and I kind of related it to that. And until you consolidate those, they have another fight, make more money that way. Who's to say down the road, if it stays the way it is, that you won't have a private or select play a public? They did it in the NFL, AFL, you end up with the Super Bowl. So I'm just kind of relating it to all that way. It's helped my school, there's no doubt about it, especially when they went through down in Katrina, when it hit down in Chalmette. It was a big struggle for us just to get players to come out there. So as far as we're concerned, we feel very blessed to be in this thing. Does anybody have any questions? All of them. 4 years ago, I started at Archbishop Hannan. This is really easy for me to do because I had a group of seniors, 14 of them, who are still with me to this day. And I have a group of about 7 juniors that were there at the same, 7 8th graders at the same time that are now juniors. We went in with the mindset of getting all these kids a position and trying to play them one way, and we've kind of stayed with that. All of our guys are still with us. Great group of seniors, couldn't ask for a better finish for a great story. Quarterback Corey Ziegler is one of the best I've ever been associated with, and I've been around some pretty good quarterbacks in the past. I coached at Northeast, which is now ULM, and being around Doug Peterson and Stan Humphreys, and even Nate Jones played for us when I was there. I'm really glad to see Nate here, and he's done a great job at Karr. So Corey is one of those kids that he's actually started for 4 years and has done everything I've asked him to do. He can run, he can throw. Not a lot of people recruit him simply because he's not as tall as everybody else, but we've had a few other ones that were short that have made it a long way too. So Raymond Filio, who played at Northeast, played 14 years in Arena. Raymond broke Stan Humphreys, Bobby Bristol's records, and Doug Peterson. So he was a little bitty guy too. So my running back is a 3,000-yard kid, runs hard, Michael Froba. His family's actually down from Chalmette. They were kind of wiped out after Katrina, moved over to Covington. So I was glad to have Michael come over there with us. A couple of receivers. Jason Brooks, the wide receiver, has 60 catches this year. He's my punter. He's a running back. He plays defensive back sometimes when we need somebody. Just a great all-around kid. Another big kid is a junior, Daniel Hollander. He has 50 catches, has 14 touchdown passes. Had never played football before. As a 9th grader, was the first year he ever played. And he's a good one. He's 6'4", about 195 right now. And he can go after the ball and go get it. So defensively, Nick Casaluccio, nice Italian guy there. He is about 5'8", will fight anybody, will hit anybody. Our leading tackler, he's got 90 solo tackles. We play him at linebacker, defensive back. He's even played defensive end sometimes. So those are most of our guys. Yes. Calvary Baptist is the new evangel as far as I'm concerned. I recruited North Louisiana, was at the university. They're getting the same type of kids at Calvary as that evangel has gotten also. A great program. They've done a great job over there. They'll outweigh us 100 pounds a man. They'll be a whole lot faster than us. But our kids will come play every Friday. So, yes, sir.
Coach, how is your school progressing in Covington? You mentioned the number of juniors and seniors. What about your freshmen and sophomore? Are you growing in that area?
We're growing really good. Father Charles came in. Father Charles Latour came in. Actually, he hired me when he got there. So Father Charles has changed everything there. And we're actually turning away kids right now. 2 years ago, we had 230 kids in our school. Now it's 436. So academically, they're scoring very high. We have a lady that's in charge academically that does a great job, Dr. H. So, we're getting a lot more kids right now. Yes?
Coach, how do you feel about playing on Thursday? I know that a lot of area schools around here play on Thursday, but you have your own stadium. Did you ever play on Thursday during the regular season?
Well, I just got my own stadium. Last year was the first year we played 2 games there. So I played a bunch of games on Thursdays at freshman and, when my kids were freshmen and sophomores. Thursday doesn't bother me. We'll play on Monday if they want to. We're just very happy to be there. I've been doing this for 38 years. Only one other time I got an opportunity to go when I was at Amite High School. I was an assistant coach then. I guess I say this for Nate because I hope it's not that long for you, Nate. But it is a great honor. I had a lot of good people help me when I first started. In fact, my first coaching job was St. Frederick's, who is also in this, which I'm very excited for them. But Charlie Brown, one of the greats from Neville High School, helped me out a lot. Chick Childress at Ruston High School. Coach Jack Salter, of course, everybody knows Coach Salter. So I was kind of mentored by some really good people. And I can remember all of them telling me it just doesn't happen every day. So. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Pat. Again, that's 12:30 Thursday. That's Archbishop Hannan and Calvary Baptist. He's in his first year at Edna Karr, and he's led the defending state champion Cougars to their 4th straight 4A title game at his alma mater. And Karr will face East Jefferson Saturday at 4 p.m. And we'll have that one, as we will the Hannan game, on WRBH 88.3 FM and at WRBH.org from the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Please give a warm welcome to Coach Nathaniel Jones of Edna Karr.
First of all, I just want to thank God for being here. This is a great opportunity for myself and the Edna Karr family. Our biggest thing, and you'll hear me and I'll say it time and time again, is win the day. We always talk about winning the day because tomorrow will never come and you can do nothing about yesterday. So we put emphasis on winning today. Just like if we do what we're supposed to do today, and Saturday will take care of itself. I talked about pride in our program, just being a student at Karr, and now being a head coach at Karr. I want those guys to have the experience that I had, and if not, even better. So I want to make sure our guys are disciplined, which I think this past week was probably our most disciplined game just because we were playing against a rival school. The first time we played Landry Walker, I didn't think we were so as disciplined as we needed to be. I think you saw the results in the game and the margin of victory over this past week than the previous game. I think our guys are really understanding that, just because you're physically talented doesn't mean you can't get beat, because the discipline is paramount. So that's what we preach, and I want our guys to really be able to go on from this experience and be able to take lifelong lessons with them. I'll speak a little bit about EJ, very well coached. they kind of remind me, and I said this, they remind me of our '93 team that I played on. They're not the biggest, but they're really, really fast. They have linebackers, they flow to the ball, they get to the ball, and they get there with bad intentions. They have a few special players on offense. The number 9 quarterback reminds me a lot of our Patrick Surtain, who ended up playing like 11 or 12 years in the NFL. A kid that can hit you with the home run. They have the number 15. That guy, he's another home run hitter. They have guys that can really take the ball to the house, and they have really, really great team speed. So, you know, we have our hands full. We're going to just go out there, do our best. And as of right now, we're just trying to win Monday. So, if there are any questions? No questions?
Coach, I have a question. A number of the top programs in the state, in the city, from a fan's perspective, when you're looking at, I guess, cutbacks and trying to generate revenue from the fans, I'm not saying I notice as high school amateurs, championships in college or even at the professional level, what would it take, and we might have people in this room, to have a game, for instance, okay, the state championship's over, all of a sudden, man, you know what, I want to see Rummel against John Curtis. I want to see John Curtis against Karr. I want to see the best of the best. And all of a sudden, you're trying to generate revenue. Who wouldn't show up for that game? You have a game in the Dome. I can tell you in 1976, we played St. Aug. For a quarterfinal game, there was like 36,000 people. So I'm saying when you're trying to generate revenue and all the cutbacks, I mean, how can you be against that? Because it seems like it'd be in the fans' interest. You're already state champions, but it's an extension of putting the top programs against one another.
Like I said before I came, I think it was last week, and we were talking about the whole select, non-select deal. I'm all for what's best for Louisiana high school football. You know, I've been out on the road and I've seen Texas football and I've seen California and Florida football. I think we have some of the best football in the country. So I'm for whatever's best for Louisiana football. Whether that's all of us being together, which I think is best for all of us to be together. I'll play JT, I'll play Rummel. I think it's good for our programs. I think it's good for high school football. You know, we lost to JT, and it was one of the greatest games that I've ever been a part of. You know, it would have been the greatest if I would have won it, but that's sort of just how it goes. But you know, we'll try to get those matchups. Now, only thing I'm not for is going up to like Shreveport and try to play, you know, Evangel or someone like that, because the distance, the pre-district, we can't go that far and I think be successful. But I'd play anybody. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Nate. Again, Karr and East Jefferson Saturday in the Dome at 4 p.m. Sure look forward to that. The other part of that equation has helped East Jefferson make history this year, leading the Warriors to the school's first ever state football championship game appearance with an unbeaten record. East Jefferson will face Edna Karr Saturday. And it's a pleasure to welcome back to the New Orleans Quarterback Club, Nate Saltaformaggio, the head coach of the East Jefferson Warriors. Nick.
Thank you, Kenny, and thank you, Quarterback Club. Last night I make a sandwich every day to go to work because I don't make the money that these other coaches make. And so my wife says, "You don't have a sandwich for tomorrow?" And I said, "No, I'm speaking at the Quarterback Club." And she goes, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Thank God you're not a dog." I said, "Why? Why is that?" She said, "Because you don't run that litter." I said, "I appreciate that, Sharon, but at least they let me talk." You know, I can say this about select, non-select. Get in 4A football. Our district composed of Franklinton, who Karr dispatched of in the quarterfinals. Salmon, who, while down this year, is a traditional power. We go through, we beat St. Charles Catholic, who was a good football team in pre-district. We beat Jesuit, who was a good football team in pre-district. We were lucky enough to go to Franklinton and win at Franklinton in a great environment to win an outright district title And then we get in the state playoffs, and we get McDonough 35, who, while not having a great record, had a pretty good football team. And that was the first time East Jefferson had won a football playoff game in quite a long time. And for that, we got to get on a bus and travel 6 hours to Shreveport to play North DeSoto in a freezing rainstorm. And we were fortunate enough to get that win. And then, because of that, we got to come back to Yankee Stadium and play Warren Easton, who was 10-2 at the time and arguably has some of the best talent in the city of New Orleans. And because we were able to beat them, we got to practice another week to play Neville. And then we were fortunate enough to win in the last-second field goal. And as a result of that, we get to go to the state championship game to play Karr. So if you think that that's watered down, let me know about it. I'll be glad to talk with you about it. But, you know, I'm a traditionalist, and I hope that principals can come to a reasonable conclusion, and we can find a way to do what's best for every school and really for every kid that plays football. Because I can tell you, Friday night when that field goal went through, and I'll give you a little funny story on that. Coach Olello, who's our offensive coordinator, we're on the headsets, and there's 41 seconds to go, and we don't have any timeouts left. And we were on about the 11-yard line, the plus 11-yard line, and he says, "What do you think?" I said, "Let's try to get this a little closer." Well, we run a play, and Eugene pops it, and he gets tackled inside the 1-yard line on the right hash mark. We have a right foot kicker. So that is really a really tough angle for a kicker. Well, we were on TV, and we killed the ball, and we get a TV timeout, and our kicker, who's a Hispanic kid, he's moving the tee. He keeps moving the tee, so I call him over. I said, "Isaac, quit moving the tee. Line the tee up, mark your angle and make the kick." And he looks at me and he says, "Coach," he says, "Coach, we are going to go to the Superdome, Coach." And I just said, "Go out and kick the ball." And the thing I remember most about him making that kick, just before I went to my knees in utter shock, was Coach Keitel, our principal, always told me what kind of athlete he was. Well, he was running so fast to get that football, you'd have thought it was Usain Bolt running after him. Those are the memories that moment meant, not just for me, because I hope I can live long enough and coach long enough to do this again. A good friend of mine, Eric Collins, asked me about Coach JT, and he goes, "Man, you ever think Coach JT gets tired of going to those state championships?" And I'd never been. Heck, I hadn't even won a playoff game. But I can tell you what, you get there, you just want to do it again and again and again. And it's never about you, because you may be the guy going there, but those kids, in that moment in their life, it's just unbelievable to see the sheer happiness, the sheer euphoria for your school and your teachers and your custodians and then your football kids. And we had kids kind of like me, didn't even know how to react to it. And now that they've done it, it's just such a special feeling. So I hope we can forget about all that select and non-select craziness and focus on the fact that to get those kids in that one moment. And, a lot of our kids haven't been in the Superdome. 3 or 4 of my kids right after the game were crying, and I was crying. I'm like, "What are you crying for?" They're like, "Coach, we've never been in the Superdome." And I'm like, "You know what? I haven't won that much either." So, it's just a great experience, and it's a great ride. And we have a really, really good football team. I told my dad on the phone, I said, "Listen, I know you're an LSU fan, but I'm just going to tell you, when Karr comes out the locker room, they're in purple and gold, but it's really not LSU. They just look a whole hell of a lot like it." So we're happy to be playing, and I'm happy to be coaching. But more than anything, I'm really, really happy for East Jefferson High School. They deserve to be in the Dome, and we deserve to be in the Dome. And again, thank you. Any questions? Go buy your tickets at East Jefferson High School.
Congratulations, Nick. Again, it's East Jefferson and Edna Karr, Saturday at 4 p.m. in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Our next speaker is in his 19th year. He's won nearly 80% of his games, and has Archbishop Rummel playing for the state championship in Division I. It's the 3rd time in 5 years Rummel's been to the Dome, and they will face as Kenny mentioned, Byrd High School, Thursday night, 8:30. We'll have that one live on WGSO 990 AM and at WGSO.com. The Raiders won the 5A state championship in 2012. Please give a warm welcome to Rummel head coach Jay Roth. Jay?
When somebody says free lunch, usually I'll take off school and go anywhere to eat free, but I'm here today for the luck. And this was the deal last year when I came. I'll never forget, I was sitting here after we won the semifinals with Jabbar Jalou, and we were both invited for semifinal week. And I was going back to the state championship, never won it yet, and Kenny made a statement, usually coaches who come to this state final week wins. So I told Jalou invited out, I'm coming back. You coming back? He goes, yeah, I'm coming back too, coach. So here was Jalou and I, uninvited last year, sitting here, just coming for the luck, and it worked. Now I say this, it could work again. We got a 50-50 chance, but Salt, you and Nathaniel, something's got to give this week. Yeah, we got two locals playing each other, so I don't know how that's going to work. But congratulations to all the coaches making it to the Dome, and I guess I'm going to chirp in on the non-select, select too. I'm like Nick, I'm a traditionalist also. And I'm going to tell you, Nick, you can appreciate what you've accomplished because you won 4 games to get there, And I can appreciate what we accomplished last year because we had to win 5 games to be champions of the postseason. And this year the road was a little shorter, believe me. We're glad to be back there, All I can say is like the old days, the AP and the UPI, when the season's over, there's going to be 2 champs, let both teams claim it, and so be it, And I'm sure that's how everybody's going to do it. And then we'll see what happens in January, and hopefully cooler heads will prevail when we get back. We play Byrd this week. It's our second time playing Byrd in the last 3 years. They defeated us in the quarterfinals. And right now, everybody's still patting us on the back for our victory over St. Aug. And it's like we're not even playing another game. I'm trying to explain to people, we did not get a trophy after the semifinal game. There's no state championship trophy in our office for beating St. Aug. We kind of liken it to the 1980 Miracle on Ice when the U.S. beat Russia. That was the greatest upset in all sports history. But they still had to go back out and beat Sweden, who was still ranked higher than them, to get the gold medal. Well, Byrd is the number 2 seed. They ended up 5th in the state when the season was over. We're a number 5 seed, so we've got our work cut out for us. Byrd is a running football team. If you were happen to catch East Jefferson on TV Friday night, or you saw Auburn on TV Saturday, that's about what we're going to face. They're averaging well over 300 yards rushing a game. They don't believe in the forward pass. And the way we have trouble sometimes defending option, like we did against Acadiana early in the year, they will give us some problems. Their defense is only giving them 14 points a game. So we expect a battle from the guys from Shreveport coming down, and hopefully we give everybody a good game. I know both schools, Byrd's first time in the state championships since I believe the 40s. So I know they have a great support group as it is. I'm sure they'll be bringing a lot of people down. So Kenny, thanks for the opportunity. I hope it brings everybody luck here tonight. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Jay. Again, Rummel against Byrd, Thursday night, 8:30 in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. With the second most victories in United States prep football history, he's guided John Curtis to a national championship in 2012, and he's one of Louisiana's best 25 state championships. John Curtis will face the University Lab Thursday for the Division II state championship at 4:30 p.m. in the Superdome. We'll have that one on WRBH 88.3 FM and at WRBH.org. Please give a warm welcome to JT Curtis of John Curtis Christian School. JT.
Thank you, Kenny. It's good to be here, and congratulations to all the coaches that are here that are competing for a state championship, those that are here and those that have not been able to come in. It is an honor to be able to play for a state championship, and just to echo the sentiment of each one of the men that have already spoken, regardless of the rules, we have to play by them. And so we don't want to diminish the opportunity to compete for a state championship. I too would like to see us back together. I think that we probably put on one of the finest shows in America when we were competing all as one big group. But regardless of that, each state championship is special to each team, and it's special to those players, regardless. They don't think in the terms of select or non-select. They think in terms of competing. And so I congratulate each one of them. We're going to play University High School out of Baton Rouge. It's probably one of the more talented teams in our state. A lot of people do not know much about University High. They have their left offensive tackle that is committed to LSU. The right offensive tackle is committed to UL Lafayette. Their tailback is an LSU commitment. They have a freshman that has already been offered by numerous Division I schools that is an outstanding player. They are a physically big football team, and they have dominated play this year. They're undefeated coming into the game. They are very balanced in terms of offense and in terms of throwing the ball and running the ball. Manny Miles is the quarterback, Coach Miles' son, and it's obvious he has been around football a great deal. He does not make mistakes with the ball, he does not throw interceptions, and he has a very unique touch on the deep ball and has really hurt people throwing the ball down the field, especially when he scrambles. If the play is covered, he's going to pull it down, he's going to run, get what he can get, and not put his team in a bad position, and that has played well for them all year long. For us to have an opportunity to compete, we're going to have to not turn the ball over. We did that last week in our game against Evangel. We turned the ball uncharacteristically over in the first 3 possessions that we had the ball and created a short field. And we do not need to do that against a team with these kind of offensive weapons. So we'll need to play really well on offense, control the line of scrimmage, control the ball, and then play extremely well in the kicking game. If we can create field position that will make it a long field for them and a shorter field for us, then I think that'll go a long way to give us an opportunity to win the game. But I expect it to be highly competitive. They're excited about coming down here and to play the game. I had the opportunity in the bye week to go watch them play in their first round of the playoffs. They have a great following and obviously a lot of quality players. So we're looking forward for the opportunity to play University High. I think it's going to be an exciting weekend of football, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We've all had to make adjustments to that schedule, but they're good adjustments because they're giving the kids a chance to come in and compete in the Louisiana Superdome in a premier event. So with that, I'll kind of close, and if they have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Good. This might be the first group I've ever been before that didn't have a question. Hey, thank you all.